Hi friends, welcome back to my crochet tutorial. Today we'll be making this adorable carrot bunny rabbit. This tutorial focuses solely on the rabbit. You can find the ribbon and carrot tutorials on my YouTube channel. You can access all these free tutorials easily from my homepage. Each playlist contains all the accessories and basic stitches you will need to complete the project, all organized in one place. If you would like to support me and my little channel, you can purchase the written patterns. I spent a lot of time and effort creating them to make them beautiful and easy to follow. These are the materials you will need. Hobby to confine number 1, 3.5mm crochet hook, or you can use any worsted or Aran weight yarn. 2 9mm safety eyes, stitch marker, yarn needle, scissors, polyfill stuffing or filling of your choice, dark brown and pink yarn for the face embroidery. First, let's begin by crocheting the ears. We will make 2 of these. We start by creating a magic ring. Round 1. 3 single crochet in the magic ring. I find it easier to see the stitches when we mark the first stitch we just made, so let's grab our stitch marker and do that. Next, let's tighten the magic ring by pulling the starting tail. Now that this is done, let's continue to round 2. Let's join the live stitch to the first stitch that we just marked with the stitch marker earlier. Round 2. 3 invisible increase. We will end up with 6 stitches at the end of the round. To make an invisible increase, work 1 single crochet in the front loop only, then work another single crochet into both loops of the same stitch. That's our first invisible increase done. Use a stitch marker to mark the first stitch. Since an invisible increase creates 2 stitches, make sure you mark the first stitch you created, not the second one. If you need help with the invisible increase or any other basic stitches, you'll find tutorials linked in the playlist. I'll also include the link in the description box. Let's keep going. That's the second invisible increase done. That's the third and last invisible increase done. Round 3. A sequence of invisible increase, single crochet. Repeat this sequence 3 times in total. We will end up with 9 stitches at the end of the round. That's the first invisible increase done. Mark the first stitch with a stitch marker. Moving on to single crochet. That's the first sequence done. 2 more to go. Invisible increase, single crochet, invisible increase, single crochet. This is what it looks like at the end of round 3. Round 4. 9 single crochet. Mark the first stitch as usual. This is what it looks like at the end of round 4. It looks like a cone. Round 5, a sequence of single crochet, invisible increase, single crochet, repeat the sequence 3 times in total. We will end up with 12 stitches at the end of the round. That's the first sequence done. 2 more to go. One last sequence. This is what it looks like at the end of round 5. Round 6, 12 single crochet. Mark the first stitch as usual. Round 7, a sequence of invisible increase, 3 single crochet, repeat this sequence 3 times in total. We will end up with 15 stitches at the end of the round. That's the first sequence done. 2 more to go. That's the second sequence done. Last one to go. This is what it looks like at the end of round 7. Round 7 is the last increase round. From round 8 to round 13, we will be making 15 single crochet in each round. Mark the first stitch of each round as usual. Continue working on your single crochet. I will fast forward here and I'll see you at the end of round 13. We have now reached near the end of round 13. I have removed my stitch marker since this is the last round. After finishing the last single crochet, do a slip stitch to secure it. Leave a long tail, as we will be using the leftover yarn to sew the ear onto the head later on. Cut the yarn and pull it through. We are now going to secure our starting tail using a yarn needle. The starting tail is usually already inside the ear. If yours is also inside, first bring it out of the ear. Then secure it by weaving through a few stitches at the base. Once done, bring the needle back through the center so the tail sits inside the ear again. We don't need to stuff the ears as they will be folded in half later during assembly. Crochet another ear, then set both ears aside for now. Let's move on and crochet the tail next. Again, we will start with a magic ring. Round 1. 6 single crochet in the magic ring. Mark the first stitch. Tighten the magic ring by pulling the starting tail. Round 2. 6 invisible increase. We will end up with 12 stitches at the end of the round. That's the first invisible increase done. Mark the first stitch of the round. That's second invisible increase done. 4 more to go. Three more to go. Two more to go. Last one. For round 3 to round 5, work 12 single crochets in each round. Mark the first stitch of each round as usual. I will see you at the end of round 5. Just like the ears, let's secure the tail by weaving through a few stitches at the base. Once done, bring the yarn back through the center so it sits inside the tail. We are going to stuff the tail now. Add a small amount of stuffing at a time and shape it evenly as you go. Let's move on now to round 6. We are going to do our final round. Round 6. 6 invisible decrease. We will end up with 6 stitches at the end of the round. To do an invisible decrease, work through the front loops of the next 2 stitches only. That's the first invisible decrease done. 5 more to go. Since this is the last round for the tail, we won't be needing our stitch marker. Keep going with the invisible decrease and I'll see you at the end of the round. I will fast forward here. This is the final invisible decrease before the end of the round. Finish with a slip stitch. Cut yarn. Pull through. As you can see, we have 6 stitches left on the tail and there is still a gap remaining. This is great, so do not close the gap. We will use these stitches later to join the tail to the body. Set the tail aside for now. We are going to start crocheting the body. All the body parts are done. I don't know about you, but I'm excited. We will be crocheting from bottom up. Start with a magic ring. Round 1. 4 single crochet in the magic ring. Mark the first stitch of the round. Pull the starting tail to tighten the magic ring. Round 2. 4 invisible increase. We will end up with 8 stitches at the end of the round. That's the first invisible increase done. Mark the first stitch. Do 3 more invisible increase until the end of the round. This is the last invisible increase. Round 3. A sequence of single crochet, 3 single crochet in one stitch. Repeat this sequence 4 times in total. We will end up with 16 stitches at the end of the round. To do 3 single crochet in one stitch, work the first 2 single crochets in the front loop only. Then work the third single crochet through both loops, all into the same stitch. That's the first sequence done. 3 more to go. Second sequence done. Third sequence done. 1 more to go. Done. This is what it looks like at the end of round 3. It looks like a small square. Round 4. Single crochet, mark the first stitch. Three single crochet in one stitch. A sequence of 3 single crochet, 3 single crochet in one stitch. Repeat this sequence 3 times in total. First sequence done. Second sequence done. Third sequence done. Finish with 2 single crochet. We will end up with 24 stitches at the end of the round. Round 5. 2 single crochet. Don't forget to mark the first stitch. 3 single crochet in one stitch. A sequence of 5 single crochet, 3 single crochet in one stitch. Repeat this sequence 3 times in total. First sequence done. Second sequence done. Third sequence done. Finish with 3 single crochet. We will end up with 32 stitches at the end of the round. This is what it looks like at the end of round 5. Round 6. 3 single crochet. Three single crochet in one stitch. A sequence of 7 single crochet, 3 single crochet in one stitch. Repeat this sequence 3 times in total. First sequence done. Second sequence done. Third sequence done. Finish with 4 single crochet. We will end up with 40 stitches at the end of the round. I need to give you a quick heads up. I forgot to press record while working on round 7, so I'm using footage from round 20 to demonstrate instead. Round 7. Slip stitch to the first stitch of round 6 to join. Then chain 1. Now we're going to work 40 back loop only single crochets to the end of the round, starting in the same stitch we just slip stitched into. This stitch can be a little tight, so let me remove the stitch marker. However, remember this stitch and make sure to place your first back loop only single crochet into it. Mark this first back loop only as the first stitch. Keep going with your back loop only single crochet until the end of the round. I'll see you at the end of round 7. We are now at the end of round 7 and back to our regular footage. Round 8. Slip stitch to the first stitch of round 7 to join. In this round, we will be crocheting the feet. Chain 1, 4 single crochet, that's the first single crochet done. Mark this first stitch. 3 more single crochet to go. Now we are going to start crocheting the first foot. We will be making a bobble stitch. To do a bobble stitch, we will be repeating the following sequence 5 times in total. First, yarn over. If you need a step-by-step demonstration, you'll also find the bobble stitch tutorial in the playlist. Insert hook into the stitch. Then yarn over and pull up a loop. We now have 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops on the hook. That's the first sequence done. We will now be repeating the earlier steps 4 more times for a total of 5 times, all into the same stitch. So this is the second one done. Third sequence done. Fourth sequence done. We now have 5 loops left on the hook. This is the last sequence. We now have 6 loops left on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all the 6 loops. That's our bobble stitch done. Next, we will do 5 single crochet. It's important to pull the yarn tight after each bobble stitch and the next stitch to help prevent holes. Let's finish the rest of the single crochet. Gently push the bobble stitch forward to make it pop out. Now, time to do our next bobble stitch. Finish with 29 single crochet to the end of the round. We will end up with 40 stitches at the end of the round. I will fast forward soon and see you at the end of round 8. We are now at the end of round 8. Let's push the second bobble foot out. If you are having trouble like I am, you can use the back of a pencil to help push the bobble stitch out. I'm actually using a small paintbrush here. I can't believe the day has finally come where I get to combine my crochet and painting together. Okay, enough of me being silly. In round 9 to 11, we will be joining the tail to the body. Round 9. Slip stitch to the first stitch of the previous round to join, then chain 1. Work 26 single crochet. Mark the first stitch as usual. Let me fast forward here until we finish our 26 single crochets. Now grab the tail that we set aside earlier. First, insert your hook into one of the tail stitches, then into the next stitch on the body, and work a single crochet through both pieces together. Repeat this with the next tail stitch and the next body stitch. Then complete the remaining 12 single crochet around the body. Remember, our tail had 6 open stitches. We just used 2 of them, so we have 4 stitches left. Round 10. Slip stitch into the first stitch of the previous round to join. Then chain 1. Work 25 single crochet. Mark the first stitch as usual. Let me fast forward here until we finish our 25 single crochets. Now, just like before, insert your hook into the next tail stitch, then into the next body stitch, and work a single crochet through both pieces together. Next, work 2 single crochets. Then repeat the same process. Insert your hook into the next tail stitch, then into the next body stitch. And work a single crochet through both pieces together. Finish the remaining 11 single crochet around the body. Round 11 repeats round 9. Slip stitch to the first stitch of the previous round to join, then chain 1. Work 26 single crochets. Mark the first stitch as usual. Going to fast forward until we finish our 26 single crochets. Let's join the remaining 2 tail stitches. Done! Complete the remaining 12 single crochets around the body. This is what it looks like at the end of round 11. Our tail is now fully joined to the body. Before we continue, let's secure the starting tail and the tail joints. Hide both ends inside the body. If you're enjoying this tutorial, please give the video a thumbs up to let me know. Thank you, friends. Now, let's continue with round 12. In this round, we will be working on the arms. Slip stitch to the first stitch of previous round. Chain 1. 4 single crochet, mark the first stitch, work the remaining 3 single crochet. Now we are going to create the arms by making a triple treble bubble stitch. So first, yarn over 3 times. Insert hook into the stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. You now have 5 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we have 4 loops left on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops again. Now we have 3 loops left on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops for a third time. Now we have 2 loops left on the hook. So this is the first sequence done. Repeat this sequence 4 more times for a total of 5 times, all into the same stitch. That's second sequence done. This is essentially a larger, puffier version of the regular bubble stitch. And yes, if you need a step-by-step demonstration, I have a separate video tutorial for it in the same playlist. That's third sequence done. That's fourth sequence done. That's the last and fifth sequence done. We should have 6 loops left on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. That's our first arm done. Remember to pull the stitches tight to prevent holes here and in the next one. Keep going with 5 single crochet. Now it's time to make the second arm with another triple treble bubble stitch. But first, let's push out the first arm. Look at how cute these tiny feet and arms. Here comes our second arm. Yarn over 3 times. Insert hook into the stitch. Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops again. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops for a third time. The first sequence is done. 4 more to go. That's the second sequence done. That's the third sequence done. That's the fourth sequence done. That's the last and the fifth sequence done. We should have 6 loops left on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 6 loops. Finish with 29 single crochet. I'm going to fast forward here and see you at the end of the round. Push out the other arms whenever you're ready. This is what it looks like at the end of round 12. Round 13 to 19, slip stitch to the first stitch of previous round, chain 1, 40 single crochet. Mark the first stitch. We are going to attach the safety eyes between round 15 and 16. Just keep going in this manner and I'll see you at the end of round 16. We just finished round 16. Let me show you the position for our safety eyes here. We are going to align the eyes vertically to the inner arms, leaving a 5-stitch gap. Don't attach the safety eye backing yet. Let's now keep going with round 17. I just want to show you this part because if you're struggling to work the single crochet due to the safety eyes getting in the way, simply remove the eye first, work the single crochet, then put the eye back on. Alright, I'll fast forward here and I'll see you at the end of round 19. We are now at the end of round 19. Before moving on to round 20, let's attach the safety eye backings. This will lock the safety eyes in place, so make sure you're happy with their placement before doing this. I'm wearing gloves here because attaching the backing hurts my fingers. I've heard there are tools that can help, so if you have one, that's great. We are going to stuff the body next. Using any fillings of your choice, slowly add the stuffing and distribute it evenly. It's important to do this a little at a time. Let's keep going. Round 20. Slip stitch to the first stitch of round 19 to join. Chain 1, back loop only 40 single crochet. Mark the first stitch. Keep going. I will fast forward here until the end of the round. Round 21. 5 single crochet. Mark the first stitch. After we complete all 5 single crochet, we will move on to do a triple invisible decrease. We will work through the front loops of the next 3 stitches only to decrease. If you need a step-by-step demonstration, you'll find a detailed tutorial in the same playlist. A sequence of 7 single crochet, triple invisible decrease. Repeat this sequence 3 times in total. That's the first sequence done, 2 more to go. That's the second sequence done. Last one. That's the third sequence done. Finish with 2 single crochet. We will end up with 32 stitches at the end of the round. Round 22. 4 single crochet. Mark the first stitch. triple invisible decrease, a sequence of 5 single crochet, triple invisible decrease. Repeat this sequence 3 times in total. That's the first sequence done. That's the second sequence done. That's the third sequence done. Finish with 1 single crochet. We will end up with 24 stitches at the end of the round. Okay, let's keep going. We almost finished with the body. Round 23, a sequence of 3 single crochet, triple invisible decrease. Repeat this sequence 4 times in total. We will end up with 16 stitches at the end of the round. Mark the first stitch as usual. That's the first sequence done. Second sequence done. Third sequence done. This is the last sequence. Round 24, a sequence of single crochet, triple invisible decrease. Repeat this sequence 4 times in total. We will end up with 8 stitches at the end of the round. This is the last round before we close up the body. First sequence done. Second sequence done. third sequence done. Fourth and final sequence done. Let's add any last minute stuffing now. Moving on, cut the yarn and pull it through. Using a yarn needle, weave the tail through the front loops clockwise. Make as many passes as needed to fully close the body. Once done, insert the needle through the center and bring it out anywhere on the body. Move over one stitch in any direction, insert the needle again, and bring it out at another point on the body. This helps secure the closing stitch. Repeat this a few times. Cut the yarn, then use the back of the needle to push and hide any remaining yarn ends inside the body. The body is done. Let's prepare the ears next. Okay, with the ears, remember that we don't stuff them. Instead, we'll fold the base in half, align the edges, then sew through both layers to hold the shape in place. So using the long yarn tail and a yarn needle, let's begin. That's one ear done. Go ahead and do the other ear the exact same way. I'll see you back here once you finish the second ear. Position the ears in the center at the top of the head, approximately 3 stitches behind the back loop only round. Make sure both ears are aligned symmetrically. Using the remaining long yarn tail, let's attach the ears to the head. Once you're done, bring the needle out anywhere on the body. I'm going to leave this yarn tail here for now and move on to attach the second ear. I'll show you a different way to secure the yarn, so we'll come back to this yarn tail later. Alright, we finished attaching the second ear. On the last stitch, bring the needle out at the exact same spot where we brought out the yarn tail from the first ear, so both yarn tails meet in the exact same place. Next, tie a couple of knots. Now, we can trim the yarn tail shorter. I guess I left myself a lot of extra yarn. Better safe than sorry, I guess. Using a yarn needle, thread both yarn tails through the needle, insert it back into the body from the same spot. Then bring it out anywhere else on the body. This will pull the knots completely inside the body so they won't be visible. Finally, use the back of the yarn needle to gently push any remaining yarn ends inside the body. Yay, we are done with the rabbit shape. Next, let's add the face embroidery. For the face, we'll embroider a simple nose and mouth using a horizontal and vertical line. The nose is centered directly below the safety eyes and is 2 stitches wide. Using dark brown and a yarn needle, insert the needle anywhere on the body, then bring it out at the left side of the nose. Next, move 2 stitches to the right and bring the needle out at the same spot on the left side of the nose. I'm using a thinner yarn, so I'm going to repeat this one more time. If you're using a thicker yarn, you can skip this step and go straight to the mouth by bringing the needle out at the center stitch. The mouth is centered below the nose, 1 stitch down. Now let's embroider the nose. Insert the needle 1 stitch down vertically, then bring it out through the top. Repeat this once, then bring the needle out at the same spot where you started. Ready to secure the yarn as before by tying a couple of knots. Let's attach the carrot next. If you haven't made the carrot yet, you can find the tutorial in the same playlist. I'll be using the same orange yarn that we used to crochet the carrot. You can position the carrot however you like. I personally prefer mine at a slight angle. We'll attach it by sewing along the left and right sides. Next, let's add the blush embroidery. Using pink yarn and a yarn needle, embroider 3 short vertical stitches on the outer side of each eye, spacing them 1 stitch apart. Each stitch starts directly below the safety eye and extends down 1 stitch. Oh, look how cute it's looking now. Let's add the final touch by embroidering the eye details. Using the same dark brown yarn, add a small curved stitch along the outer edge of each eye. Be careful not to pull the yarn too tightly so the stitch forms a gentle curve. The ribbon tutorials is also in the playlist. I designed it as a removable ribbon brooch, but as always, you can simply sew it on just like we did with the carrot. Thank you so much for crocheting with me today. If you have TikTok or Instagram, I'd love to see your finished rabbits, so feel free to share them with me there. Take care, my love.